Welcome to today's activity of making watercolors. We're going to make these at home, and this helps children to learn kind of where things come from and how things can be made. There's also a lot of science and measuring involved while we cook and make things with our children, and so all those things are things to learn. So to do this activity, we need vinegar, baking cornstarch, sugar, baking soda, and food coloring. The equipment we need is something to protect the table, a tablecloth or newspapers, a larger pitcher if you have it, or some large bowl, something to help you measure liquid, a 1/4 cup measuring thing, and a 1/2 teaspoon measuring, a larger spoon for stirring, and a knife that's going to help us stir in. One of the last things we need is an ice cube tray. You could use smaller other containers if you don't have an ice cube tray. You might want to have paper towels handy, and I have water handy to clean the knife as we put in the different colors. So the first thing we're going to do is put a 1/4 cup of baking soda in our larger container. I have some clumps, and I did try and get these thinned out, so I think I can use the spoon to get a little less clumps. Some clumps won't matter because we're going to be stirring it, but we want to be able to measure it good. A little bit more. So, and then we need 1/8 cup of vinegar, which is 2 tablespoons. You could use 2 tablespoons, or like I have this that tells me 2 tablespoons. So children usually love the fizzy reaction you get from baking soda and vinegar. And then you can let them stir it until it's completely dissolved. And then we're going to add in 1/2 teaspoon sugar and stir that till it's dissolved. And then 1/8 cup cornstarch, so I'm going to do half of this. And you stir this. And this will kind of clump funny, and that's okay. As you let go, it relaxes back into a liquid. You just want to mix it as good as you can. We're going to let it go into a liquid. And then we're going to pour it into the ice cube tray. Trying to put about the same amount in each one, and probably about half full. You You could easily double this recipe to get more different colors. And that'll be enough to show you what we're going to do. I had made blue and green and white previously to give it a try. So I'm going to use some different colors this go round. And I only put in about 3 drops of color for each one. So we'll stick with that. That seemed to work pretty good. A yellow and a red. And on the box, it gives me some ideas for other colors. So I can try orange with 2 parts red and 3 parts yellow. So I think I'm going to try it because I don't need that many drops. I'll do 1 red and 2 yellow and see how that works for color. And always with these kinds of activities, it's about learning and seeing what happens if. And so these are nice things you can try to do different things with. 1 part red and 2 parts blue will give us a purple color. And so you can try different colors. You can try different brands of food colors. On the internet, you can search and get recipes that are similar but a little bit different to this. And you might find things work different than what you would like than this one, and you might like it better, or you might not. It might not work as well. But if you treat it as, oh, we're just finding things out, then kids learn to be observant and to know it's okay to try new things and learn from their mistakes. This is also a good activity because now these are going to have to sit and dry for 1 to 2 days before you can paint with them. So it's a nice activity to do maybe before painting with something different. Make these so that you have them ready for another day, and then let the kids paint with something that's already available in the house. Now this is still looking kind of blue, I think. So I think what I might do is add a little bit more red to it and see if we can get it to look a little more purplier. As you can see, as you stir it, it kind of moves around and goes up in the container, so that's one of the reasons it's important to try and fill them about halfway full so you have a little room to stir without them going from one end to the other. There, that looks kind of purple or gray, maybe. And here's our red. When I made these the other day, it didn't get as clumpy, and I'm not quite sure why, but they still dried and they were fine. So if when you do this, it doesn't look quite the same, try it and see what happens. And here's the yellow. And I think the red needs a little more red. Oh, maybe not. Different light makes it look different. We'll put 1 more drop in. Give it a quick stir. So I started this so you can kind of see what's going on. This is Wednesday is going to be the 50th anniversary of Earth Day as I am filming this. So I have a picture of the Earth, and unfortunately I realized I don't have paintbrushes. And since this is under COVID restriction rules, running to the store to buy them wasn't an option. So I have Q-tips. And so I wet the Q-tip and I can put it on the blue and then paint where there's water. And I used a different one for green. And so you can let your children try painting with different objects too, depending on the paints. I had left one without putting any color in for white. And as you can see, it actually shows up as white on here. And I did a little bit here, but they were still wet. So I'm going to see, now that this is dry, what happens. And maybe dabbing it when it dries. I don't know if it'll dry white or if it'll just make it look a little different then. So all these things they can just try with their watercolors. When you make your own and put them in a container like this, it's a little easier to not mix the colors all together for children. So I hope you enjoy the activity and have fun painting.